Too many people and organizations believe that purchasing a new technology or the newest, hottest AI tool is going to solve all of their problems and skyrocket revenue. I see this all the time, and in the e-learning space alone, I have found that most people are overspending by 5 to 200x on technology. This is crazy. Individuals and companies are leaving hundreds of thousands of dollars on the table by integrating the wrong technologies and by falling into the trap thinking that technology equals strategy. Well, I have news for you. Your tech stack is not your strategy. So stop hiding behind your tools and create your strategy with me today. In e-learning, we have so many different acronyms for tools. Just in e-learning alone, we have LMS, we have authoring tools, we have LXPs, we have BMS, we have CMS, we have CRMs. The list goes on and on and on. And while all of these tools may be necessary for your business, this is not your strategy. Your strategy is your strategy. And that's why today I want to build your strategy together so that you can get ROI from your e-learning program in your business and ultimately harness the power of technology to fulfill your strategy. But strategy comes first, technology second. Now, before we build your strategy together, I want to share with you my e-learning platform finder to save you and your organization 5 to 200x on your technology budget. I have seen companies pay $50 all the way up to $1 million a year on e-learning technology when they should be spending less than $10,000 a year. Most of my clients are spending $2,000 or less per year. And they're doing this because I have over the years come up with the best e-learning platforms out there in the world, and I've curated them into my e-learning platform finder to empower you, to match you with the perfect platform to empower your business. And yes, even S&P 500 companies, enterprise level companies, should not be spending $50K, $100K, $1 million per year on your software. You should only be spending maybe 5 to 10K per year. That's why I'm going to match you in a matter of seconds with your perfect platform. Linked in the description below if you're watching this on YouTube, or in the show notes if you're listening to this as a podcast. In addition to being matched with the perfect platform for you, I'm going to give you access to a free trial of the platform so you and your team can start building everything out, integrating it into your business before you even have to pay. And in order to shortcut the process for you, I'm also going to give you a free course teaching you step by step how to get this software up and running in your business. And then once you start paying for the platform, I'm also going to give you my platform to profit strategy session where I sit down with you and your team to optimize and maximize the ROI that you are going to get from your investment in this platform for you and your business so that you can hit your e-learning goals as quickly as possible. And speaking of ROI, step 1 is to define ROI for your business. This is the most important part of any strategy, is defining ROI for you and your business. What does this mean? This means looking at where in your business can you get the biggest return on your investment in the shortest amount of time in e-learning. Maybe you're building a program to sell. If you're selling a program, then we need to look at what do customers want to buy from you. For my S&P 500 Enterprise Learning Accelerator partnership client, CoStar, we focus on selling 2 programs. And when we launched their e-learning program right out of the gate, we focused on 1. And we did this by conducting an 80-20 analysis. I talk about this all over my YouTube channel and podcast, how important these two things are. An 80-20 analysis is research shows that 80% of results come from 20% of actions. And 20% of results come from 80% of actions. So same thing with your programs. 80% of the return on investment, the revenue you make if you are selling your programs, comes from 20% of your programs. So why not launch with the program that creates 80% of results? Well, Johnny, what is the 64-4 rule? What's 20% of 20%? 4. And what's 80% of 80%? 64. So what this means is that 4% of what you do in your business creates 64% of results. And vice versa, 64% creates 4% of results. So if you really want to double, triple, quadruple down on selling one program in your business, make sure that it is the 4%. When we focus on the 4%, when we focus on the 20%, we optimize our ability to get ROI in our business. For CoStar, that meant focusing on their CHIA certification. CoStar Group is a real estate technology and data company, and they sell certifications teaching people how to maximize the use of data in specific verticals in commercial real estate. The program I'm specifically talking about is the CHIA, which is focused on hospitality industry analytics, certification in hospitality industry analytics, CHIA. This is the 4%. When we launched the program together, we focused on the CHIA, and it resulted in $500,000 per year profit center in their business. And then we went from the CHIA and we're like, okay, we launched the 4%. Now it's time to launch the rest of that 20%, creating 80% of results. So we launched the CATA. And the CATA is adding another 6 figures plus per year of revenue. And at the same time, we've increased their e-learning profit margin by 6 figures per year. This is what you need to do with your business, especially if you are selling. You want to come up with the 1 or 2 programs that is driving the most ROI in your business. Now, what if you're training your employees? So if you are just training your employees, we can do the same thing. You want to do an 80-20 analysis and a 64-4 analysis to find the 1 or 2 programs that you can create to exponentially increase the value of your employees, to exponentially increase the effectiveness and the efficiency of the work they do. And I promise you, even though when you initially invest in e-learning and when you look at, oh, well, I want to invest in the tech, and I checked out the e-learning platform finder, I got my technology, now I want to put it all online. I promise you that you will get more ROI in your business by focusing on 1 or 2 areas to start. We're 3 years into our partnership with CoStar, and we are still spending 99% of our energy on these 2 programs. We've actually started putting in place a CHIA recertification program. And next, we're going to put into place a CATA recertification program. So we're doubling down on what is creating the majority of our revenue in the business unit. It's the same thing that you need to do if you are selling or if you're training your employees. Focus on 1 or 2 programs that bring the most ROI to your business. Now let's pretend that you don't know who your learners are. Or maybe you kind of have an idea, but maybe you've never created a training program at all before. Well, if that's the case, then step 2 is to define your learners, or I like to call them PLPs, or perfect learner profiles. Now, when we're looking at categorization, we're talking about what are the biggest challenges that your learners have. You could also look at this as what is the return that your learners are getting on their investment in your program? What is their ROI? In step one, we defined what is the ROI for your business to offer either an internal or an external learning program. Now we're looking at what is the ROI for your learners. Because if your learners, let's say their customers, are going to purchase your program, there needs to be a return on their investment in the program. Same thing. If you are training your employees, then your employees need to be getting a return on their investment in order to invest their time into taking the program. If you're selling the program, your customers are investing two things. They're investing money and time. Your employees are really only investing time. Well, time is more valuable than money. So either way, you need to let them know, you need to communicate to your learners, customers or employees, why they need your program, what is in it for them. And that's why we define biggest challenges. Now, when you define your learners by biggest challenges, you're creating your perfect learner profiles. So let's say that the biggest challenge in your organization is your conversion rate for sales. That's the biggest challenge. Oh, we're really good at finding leads. We're just not very good at turning those leads into paid customers. Okay, there is your challenge. Let's build an e-learning program to provide a solution to that challenge. And let's give our employees a benefit. What ROI do your employees get by completing the program? Well, if they are being paid via commission, they're going to make more money. There's the ROI for your employees. Now let's say that you are like my Enterprise Learning Accelerator client, CoStar, S&P 500, selling certifications to professionals coming out of the best hospitality schools in the world and working for the best hospitality companies in the world, like Cornell, and working for the best hospitality companies in the world, like Marriott. What is in it for them to purchasing their certifications? There are multiple benefits. Well, the first one is the CHIA certification has become a standard in the industry. The second thing is when you're earning your certification, you're learning the CoStar Group software, which is the standard in the entire commercial real estate industry. The ROI for the students, the professors, and the industry professionals for taking these programs is very simple. Jobs. Students are set up to get a job in data analytics in the hospitality industry from taking this certification. Industry professionals are set up to get jobs. Professors are able to support their students in getting jobs. Professors can also leverage the certification and get jobs. The more jobs that schools are able to get for their students, the more students are going to go to their school. The more that professors get to get paid. Jobs is the ROI for the learners that CoStar sells its programs to. Step 3, create the 3 pillars of e-learning. Now, we've already defined ROI for your business, and we have defined ROI for your learners. Now, it's time to put the pillars in place to build the foundation for your e-learning program. And the 3 pillars of e-learning are as follows: content, technology, and distribution. When you started watching this video and listening to this podcast episode today, you were here because of technology. Escaping the confines of technology. Thinking that technology equals strategy. Now we know that ROI equals strategy. And specifically, ROI helps us define our strategy. And once we know what ROI we're looking to get in our business, it dictates what kind of content we need to create. So when we know that a specific topic is going to create the most income for us to sell a learning experience about, then we know exactly what kind of content to create. We know exactly who in our organization, maybe it's you, needs to be delivering that content. Content is the learning experience itself. This could be videos, workshops. With CoStar, we have videos, we have instructor-led workshops, we have certification exams. All of that is content, the first pillar of e-learning. Then we get to technology. Technology is what allows us and empowers us to take our learning experience and seamlessly deliver it to our learners. May that be our customers or our employees. So you need technology, but technology, once again, is empowering the ROI. If we just focused on the technology and we never came up with, okay, this is the ROI we need to get, well, first of all, we wouldn't know what the right technology is. And we could get sucked into spending way too much on it. That's why I have my e-learning platform finder, so you don't make the same mistake. You're gonna save 5 to 200x on the technology. Well, the last piece here is distribution, or different distribution channels, different distribution strategies. Distribution may actually be the most important pillar. You need all three for an e-learning program, but distribution is what gets your program in front of your learners. It gets your learners to invest their money if it's customers and time if it's customers or employees. Well, once you know how to distribute or actually sell or get your employees interested in your program, which is going to be defined by what ROI you're trying to get. So you're selling a program like CoStar, where you're serving the top universities, the top companies in the industry across the world, then the distribution strategy is let's focus on building partnerships with organizations. Let's focus on creating value for those organizations by creating the best training for their students, for their professors, for the industry professionals, their employees at the organization. That's very different than if you were looking to create a program like my VIP coaching client, Mario, where his big goal is to halve the world suicide rate in the next 3 years by sharing his Support Over Suicide program, SOS program, with people worldwide. When we first started working together, he was focused on selling one-to-one. That was the distribution plan, one-to-one. And I do highly recommend that every company, no matter if this is your primary focus or not, you should have the ability for individuals to buy your program. So we do at CoStar. If you're a student, you can buy one. If you're a professor, you can buy one. If you are an industry professional, you can buy one. But you can also buy many, one-to-many. When we're talking about one-to-many, we're talking about exponentially increasing the impact of your program. We're talking about higher ROI for your business and higher ROI for your customers. In CoStar's case, Cornell will buy 170 licenses for their students. We're going to give them a discount because of that, and we're going to help them integrate that into their school. So they get an amazing program, the highest quality curriculum, certifications for their students, which means they get more jobs, which means more people go to that program, which means the school makes more money. At CoStar, that means that we make more money. Same thing with Mario. He still has it set up where individuals can buy the SOS program. But now we are focusing on serving organizations with 100,000 employees at a time, integrating the SOS program into these organizations, which in addition to working towards halving the global suicide rate, we are increasing the productivity of the workforce by decreasing depression, among other things that rob people and companies thousands of hours of work every single year. So this is why a distribution strategy is so important. I have many other episodes on my channel and on my podcast about that. But once we get that in place, we figure out our content, then we send all this through our technology to deliver to our learners to ultimately get ROI. Now, if you are interested in getting help with any of this, I invite you to check out my Enterprise Learning Accelerator partnership program, where I partner with multiple organizations per year. Me and my company, eLearning Partners, become the e-learning partner of these organizations like CoStar Group. And even after paying us, we save our partners 6 figures or more per year on their e-learning programs. Millions of dollars over time. If your company is making $50 million a year, if you have a e-learning or education or training unit inside of your company that's making $500,000 to $1 million per year, maybe you have 200 to 500 employees, or maybe you're just struggling with getting the ROI that you want from your program. Maybe you're looking to increase your profit margin. Maybe you have an e-learning program that isn't even finished yet that you need help bringing over the finish line. Or maybe you just have some outdated technology, or you're about to spend way too much money on technology and you need a partner to not only guide you, but help you implement a powerful e-learning program to drive ROI at your company. If this sounds like you, I invite you to learn more in the description below on YouTube or in the show notes if you're listening to this as a podcast. And I'll see you in the next episode.